Stop adding things to your charts. Right now. Because that extra line you just drew? That's the exact reason you're still broke. Most people think trading is like rocket science, where the smartest person with the most complicated computer wins. They think if they can just find that one secret indicator or layer 5 different filters over their price action, they'll finally crack the code. But let me tell you something that might hurt a little bit. The reason you're losing money isn't because you don't know enough. It's because you know too much of the wrong stuff. You've turned your trading screen into a chaotic mess that looks more like a spiderweb than a financial plan. You're drowning in information and you're starving for actual results. Think about the last time you took a trade. You probably looked at a moving average, then checked a momentum oscillator, then peeked at a different time frame, then maybe looked at some news headline, and by the time you actually clicked the buy button, your brain was fried. You weren't trading, you were guessing based on a mountain of confusion. This is what I call the complexity trap. It's a silent killer that destroys accounts faster than any market crash ever could. It's a trick your brain plays on you because, as humans, we are hardwired to believe that hard work and complexity equal high rewards. In school, if you write a 20-page paper, you get an A. In a job, if you handle a complex project, you get a promotion. But the market? The market doesn't care how hard you worked on your analysis. It doesn't give you a bonus for having 10 indicators on your screen. In fact, it usually punishes you for it. Imagine you're trying to build a house. A simple builder uses a hammer, a saw, and a level. He knows those tools inside and out. He builds a sturdy house that stands for 100 years. Now, imagine a complex builder who shows up with 1,000 different gadgets he doesn't fully understand. He spends all his time calibrating his lasers and checking his digital sensors, and he never actually hammers a single nail. Who do you think finishes the house? Most traders are the guy with the gadgets. They are so busy trying to be sophisticated that they forget the goal is actually quite simple. Find a high probability spot, manage the risk, and walk away. Let's talk about why your complex system is actually a glass house waiting to shatter. In the world of data, there's a concept called overfitting. This happens when you create a set of rules that are so specific and so narrow that they only work on the past. You look at a chart from last year and you say, oh look, every time this indicator was at 42 and the price was touching this specific line on a Tuesday at 10 a.m., the price went up. You feel like a genius. You think you've found the holy grail. But then you try to trade it in real life and it fails immediately. Why? Because the market is a living, breathing thing. It's not a static machine. It changes. It breathes. It shifts. When you build a system that is too complex, you are building a key that only fits one specific lock in the past. The moment the market changes the lock, which it does every single day, your key is useless. The most successful traders I have ever met don't have messy screens. They don't have 20 monitors. They have a deep, almost spiritual understanding of one or two very basic things. They understand how people feel when prices go up, and they understand how people panic when prices go down. That's it. That is the fundamental truth of the market. It is a giant machine that measures human emotion in real time. All your indicators are just lagging reflections of that emotion. If you spend all your time looking at the reflection, you'll never see the actual person standing in front of the mirror. There is a massive difference between having knowledge and having skill. You might have watched 1,000 YouTube videos. You might have read every trading book on Amazon. You might be able to explain exactly how an oscillator is calculated. That is knowledge. But knowledge doesn't pay the bills. Skill does. Skill is the ability to sit in front of a chart, see a pattern you've seen 1,000 times before, and execute it without your heart rate moving a single beat. Skill is earned through the boring work of repetition. Think about a professional athlete. Let's take a basketball player. They don't spend their time looking for new ways to throw the ball. They don't try to invent a complex mathematical formula for the perfect jump shot every morning. They stand at the free throw line and they throw the same shot 10,000 times. They do it until they don't have to think about it anymore. They do it until their muscles remember the movement even if they are tired or stressed or being screamed at by 30,000 fans. That is what trading should feel like. It should feel like a free throw. It should be so practiced and so simple that it's almost boring. If your trading is exciting and full of adrenaline, you're probably doing it wrong. Professional trading is actually quite dull. It's a lot of waiting for your specific thing to happen, and then doing the exact same thing you did last time. Most traders can't handle the boredom. They want the rush. So they start tweaking. They add a new indicator because they had a losing streak. They change their time frame because they saw someone on Twitter making money on the 1-minute chart. They are constantly moving, constantly changing, and therefore they never develop skill. They are forever beginners. If you want to break out of this cycle, You have to make a radical decision. You have to decide to be a specialist instead of a generalist. A generalist knows a little bit about everything but is a master of nothing. A specialist knows one thing better than anyone else. Imagine you need heart surgery. Do you want the doctor who knows a little bit about skin rashes, broken toes, ear infections, and heart surgery? Or do you want the guy who has spent the last 20 years doing nothing but fixing hearts? You want the specialist. In the market, the specialists are the ones who take the money from the generalists. Here is the challenge I have for you, and it's a hard one because it requires something most people don't have: patience. I want you to pick one setup. Just one. It doesn't have to be fancy. It could be a simple break of a horizontal level. It could be a specific candle pattern at a clear area of value. It doesn't really matter which one you pick as long as it has a positive expectancy over time. Once you pick that one thing, I want you to make a vow. For the next 6 months, you will trade nothing else. This sounds easy, but I promise you, it will be one of the hardest things you've ever done. In the first month, you'll be excited. You'll feel like you finally have a plan. But then you'll hit a losing streak. Because every strategy, no matter how good it is, has losing streaks. This is the moment of truth. This is where 99% of traders fail. When the losses come, your brain will start whispering to you. It will say, "This isn't working. We need to add a filter. Maybe we should try that other strategy we saw yesterday." Your brain is trying to protect you from the pain of losing, but in reality, it's leading you back into the complexity trap. If you can ignore that voice and keep trading your one setup, something magical starts to happen around month 3 or 4. You stop looking at the indicators and you start feeling the price. You begin to notice the subtle differences between a setup that is likely to work and one that is likely to fail. You start to see the hidden language of the market. You aren't learning new information, you are developing pattern recognition. You are building the muscle memory of a professional. By the time you reach month 6, you won't even recognize the trader you used to be. You won't care what people are talking about on news channels. You won't care about the latest AI-powered trading bot. You will have a deep, unshakable confidence in your process. Not because you have a 100% win rate, nobody has that, but because you know that over 100 trades your simple system will put you in the green. You've moved from being a student to being a master of your own small corner of the market. We live in an era of information obesity. We are constantly fed new ideas, new strategies, and new things to worry about. The world wants you to be distracted. The social media algorithms want you to keep scrolling and looking for the next big thing. But the path to wealth in the markets is actually a path of subtraction, not addition. It's about stripping away all the noise until only the truth remains. Think about a sculptor working on a block of marble. He doesn't add clay to the marble to make a statue. He takes a hammer and a chisel and he removes everything that isn't the statue. He chips away the excess. He removes the noise. That is what you need to do with your trading. You need to chip away the indicators. Chip away the 5 different news sites you check. Chip away the ego that makes you want to be right about the market instead of just being profitable. The market is a mirror. If you approach it with chaos and confusion, it will reflect chaos and confusion back into your bank account. But if you approach it with a calm, simple, and disciplined mind, it will eventually reward you with the freedom you're looking for. Trading isn't about being the smartest person in the room. It's about being the most disciplined person in the room. It's about having the courage to be boring, while everyone else is trying to be brilliant. Stop searching for the secret. The secret is that there is no secret. There is only you, the chart, and your ability to stay committed to a simple plan when things get difficult. It's time to turn off the extra monitors. It's time to delete the indicators you don't truly understand. It's time to stop being a learning addict and start being an execution machine. The next 6 months are going to pass anyway. You can spend them the way you spent the last 6 months, chasing your tail, switching strategies, and feeling frustrated. Or you can spend them building a real skill. You can spend them mastering one simple thing and finally breaking through to the other side. The choice is yours, but remember, simplicity isn't just a style of trading. It is the ultimate form of power in a world designed to keep you confused. Go back to basics. Find your hammer. And start building the life you actually want, one simple trade at a time. The noise will always be there, but you don't have to listen to it. The sophisticated traders will keep blowing their accounts trying to be geniuses. Let them. You just stay in your corner, trade your one setup, manage your risk, and watch what happens. It won't be a miracle. It will just be the natural result of mastery. And trust me, once you experience the peace of a simple, profitable system, you'll never want to look at a fighter jet cockpit chart ever again. You have everything you need right now. You don't need another course. You don't need another video. You just need to choose a path and stay on it. The market is waiting for you to stop playing games and start being serious. So, take a deep breath, clear your screen, and let's get to work. Your future self is counting on you to be strong enough to keep it simple. Don't let them down. Every time you feel the urge to add something new, ask yourself, am I doing this because it helps me see the truth, or am I doing this because I'm afraid of the uncertainty? Most of the time, complexity is just a mask for fear. We add things because we don't want to admit that we can't control the market. We want to feel like we have a grip on it, but you don't need to control the market to make money from it. You just need to control yourself. Accept that you will lose trades. Accept that you won't know where the market is going every single day. Accept that some weeks will be slow. Once you accept these things, the need for complexity disappears. You realize that a 55% win rate with a 2-to-1 reward-to-risk ratio is enough to make you wealthier than you ever imagined. You don't need 90% accuracy. You don't need to be a psychic. You just need to be a professional. A professional shows up, does the job, and goes home. They don't make it emotional. They don't make it complicated. They just follow the rules. That is the level you are aiming for. It's a level of quiet confidence. It's the feeling of knowing that no matter what the market does today, you are going to be okay because your system is robust, your mind is clear, and your plan is simple. Now take all that energy you've been spending on research and learning, and put it into practice. Pick your setup today. Write down the rules tonight. And tomorrow start your 100-trade journey. Don't look at the P&L. Don't look at what other people are doing. Just look at your execution. If you followed your rules, you won, regardless of whether the trade made money or not. Because in the long run, following a simple set of rules is the only way to truly win this game. The path is open. The clutter is gone. It's time to trade like you mean it. It's time to let simplicity be your edge. Go out there and prove to yourself that you have the discipline to master the basics. That is where the real money is. That is where the freedom is. And that is where you belong.